Welcome back. Thank you. In the last class, we stopped at this was where we stopped. Where we're talking about the polar array, and I was telling you about drawing a bicycle sprocket. Now, this is what we've done for this. Okay, let's continue. Still talking about the array. Now, you see those glass houses where you see the aluminium, or let's use the aluminium window. For example, where you have squares, boxes, that you have some in rectangle, some in perfect squares, like that. If you need to draw something like that, you use what we call the rectangular array. So I'm going to draw a box. I'll come to draw. I'll select rectangle. Come to block, draw, select rectangle. Let's just click anywhere convenient, right? So I'll click. Now, like I showed us yesterday, I'll just type D, enter. Still going to draw 40 for length, enter, and then 30 for width, enter. So I'll place it here. Now, I'll come to modify again. I'll come to array. This time I'll select a rectangular array. Once I select, it's asking me to select objects. I'll select this box, then right click. Once I right click, you see the other boxes have been drawn. Now you also check, you see the column and the row, right? So let me zoom it in so that we see. We have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and we have 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you have distance between. The distance between, we can actually edit the distance between them, and we can also increase the number, right? So let me say I increase this to 8. Enter, you see it has spread. Then I'll increase this to 6. 6. See, it has gone up, right? Now, like our normal window, now let me reduce, let's see what happens if I reduce the distance between the column. I'll put 20. Now, you see they're joining each other, right? Now, there's something you need to check. Is it entering each other? Let's be sure. Let me just drag and see what will happen. Let me drag. Is this increasing to 12? Well, let me not do that. Oh, sorry, I want to press escape, right? I'm going to have the issue because you remember I told you about the select associative, right? So now I'm having the issue. So let me just undo. I'll undo still. Okay, let's take it again. Those are, I told you we'll be having common mistake. When you make mistake like that, you just undo. But there are some you don't really need to undo, you correct them, right? I'll teach us how to do those ones also. So let me go back to the array. Well, I was trying to explain something to us when I just went to press escape, which happens to most times, right? When you're trying to get to bring out some ideas. So I'll click again, right click, it comes up. Now I was trying to explain to you something. The distance between here and here. Now, distance between this and this is 20. Now the 60 is giving you starts from this beginning. This 60 starts from here and ends here. Now let me reduce, I did 20 before. Let me reduce, let me put 40 there. See, it's just touching 40, right? So when you are doing this array, always be careful because your distance between, the gap between is talking about the beginning of the line, the starting point to the starting of another box. So now let me put 50 here so that you see what I'm talking about. 50. You see, is this from here to here is 40 based on our dimension. Now from here to here now is a 10. So that means it's starting from this first line to the beginning of the other, from the beginning of the first drawing to the beginning of the second drawing is where he's talking about the distance between, not this distance between here and here. To get the distance between here and here, you subtract the actual length of your drawing from the value that is given. So now, if I put 60 now, you see it will extend 60. You see it has shifted. So from here to here is 20. Now, but let me do this. Let me take it to 20. I need you to observe the box. 20. You see, it's dividing it into 2. This is 20, this is 20, right? This is another 20. So let's come back to 60. I believe we've understood that. So that we'll have, or better still, because let me take it to 50 so that it will just be close. Or I could even make it 45. Aha, 45, so that it will look more like the window. Then remember, this height was what? 30. But it's giving us 45 here now. So let me take it to 30 and see what happens. See, it's joining. It actually increased it by 15, while it increased, the column was increased by 20, 20 plus the value of your drawing for your length along the column line, and for your row, it added 15. So now let me, 30 plus 5 now, let me add it to 35, so that we'll see 35. You see now they're equidistant. The distance between here is equal to the distance between here and here. They're equidistant now, right? So see what we have done, right? This is a, now if I select associative and close, now I'll not be able to, if I click, it takes me back. So what happens? Hey, I don't want to undo. I don't want to start all over again. What do? It's simple. All you need to do, close, and you go to another modifying tool called explode, right? Is the list, is the last under. So I'll select explode. It will ask me to select object to explode. I'll select the array, select, right click, it has exploded. You see now they're separate. I can now get each of them. So if you made the mistake of selecting associative and you need them broken, you use the explode tool to explode it so that it will be free. I didn't want to teach us, I wanted, because it's more visible when you use the explode here than using it for our bicycle rim and wheel, right? Thank you. Now, the next one is what we call the part array, right? You know, most times when you have a, let me use a simple analogy, your street light. When you have your street light, right? Let's say, let me draw a line to represent our street. So let's say this is the street, right? Enter. Then I'll draw a circle to represent the street light. I'm not doing this with dimension, I'm just illustrating, right? When you need to draw your street light, you know you used to use parameters, right? So I'll click for this. Let me just draw. Let's say this is my street light, and I want it to spread along this part evenly. So I'll come to array again. This time I'll select part array, right? But okay, I'll select part array. Once I select, now you have to select objects. I'll select the circle, right click, then it will now ask me to select the part. I'll select the part. Once I select the part, you see it's following the part, right? Now, the difference here now is that I can't just go ahead and select the item. I have to come to this icon behind the word item and click before it will give me opportunity to edit the item. So let's say I wanted 5. Enter. You see it has reduced, so I can increase the space between. Let me say the space between now should be 70. Enter. Now I'm trying to get it to get to the end. Let me put 100. You see, so that's how you do part array. The same thing, let's say you leave associative on and you finish close, and I want to separate them. I'll just go to modify, come to explode, select explode, and then click, right click, is separate now. I've exploded, I've freed them. So that is a part array for us. So we've done array now. I need you to go back and try and exploit, think of what you can draw using the array, right? Thank you. So now let's continue. So we're going to, we started part of the editing and plotting, right? We started part of the editing and plotting. So by, I talked about trimming when we're trying to draw the uh, uh, bicycle wheels. We talked about the trimming. Then now we're going to do trimming proper now. So let's see how we'll continue from here. Now I have this drawing. I'm going to put a design, so to say, right? So let's make use of those circles. I ask us to go and come to circles. I'll come to 3 points. So to touch here, to touch here, and to touch here, right? So I'll repeat circle. I'm trying to do mine just to explain something to us. Come here, touch here, and touch here. Now I will try and rule a line from center to center. I click enter. Now I want to trim. I want to bring out shapes out of this, right? So I will come to trim. I'll select trim. Now, like I told us, when you're trimming, there must be an intersection. If there's no intersection, it will not trim. If you trim off the areas where you have intersection, AutoCAD will remind you that it cannot trim because there's no intersection. So when you've done your trimming, those ones that there's no intersection, if you don't want them there, you delete, right? So I'll select the object I want to trim, right click. Okay, let's remove this first, trying to create a shape, right? I'll remove this, remove that, right? Trying to create, just playing with the shapes, right? So you can see now, once you right click, after selecting and you right click, you come back and start clicking to be deleting, right? Okay, let's do what else. Now see, you see, it's telling me no intersection, right? No intersection, right? So see, no intersection, but there's an intersection here, so I can trim that off. Now, let me remove this part too. See, this is playing with your trimming. You can draw any shape and just select and trim off, right? That is how you trim, right? So let's continue. I'm trying to follow the outline I gave sequentially, right? So now we need to do what we call filleting and chamfering, right? Now Let's come back. Now, if you look at most times, like if you look at your laptop now or your desktop in your front, you see the edges are curved. They are not sharp edge. Let's assuming this is your laptop. This, you can see the edges here, they are curved. The, for those of you who are using desktop, you see both the bottom and the top, they are curved, right? So to do this, we'll come to modify. We'll be dealing more with modifying tools today. We'll come to modify. Next thing we're going to do, we'll look out for fillet. If you come down, you see fillet. Once you select fillet, now by default, because I've not used fillet since we started, it's showing me, if you look at my command line, just on top, it's showing me radius of 0. So to create the radius, to have the radius, let's say we need a radius of 5. So you type R. I explained yesterday, when you see the blue letters, is the blue letters that is the command you are going to type for it to be active. So now I have typed arrow, enter. It has given me radius. By default, since the radius was 0, so I'll put 5, enter. So I can now come and click here and click. You see, it has made the place curved for me. It has filleted it. I'll right click, repeat fillet. I'll click. Now, I want you to observe, I am not clicking at any particular order. Right click, I'm just clicking any of the lines first. I'm not following any particular order. Any one I click first, it will fillet it for me. You see the edges are filleted. They are curved now, right? Thank you. So now, the next one is a chamfer. If you come to modify, you see chamfer, right? Now this chamfer, you have seen some drawings that is beveled and the edges are beveled. They are not curved, they are beveled. Something like this, right? They are beveled, right? Before you have it, let me see if I can use my hand to demonstrate, or better still, let's see, maybe I could use this. Now you're seeing this, when you bend like this is beveled now, right? You're seeing it is beveled, right? So what we do, if you select chamfer, the same thing we did, we have to determine the distance, chamfer distance, right? So, at times when you have a drawing like this, let me try and draw something up, right? Okay, I'm coming, I'll soon show you what I'm drawing. Or let me just draw what I'm trying to explain. Let's cancel, come back. When you have a drawing like this, let's say it comes, then you have, aha. Right? Now, when you have the edges like this, so that is, these edges are all chamfered. So I'll come to chamfer, select chamfer. Now for the distance, right? So I'll type D, enter. Now you need to be very careful. Distance 1, right? Let's say distance 1 is 4, enter. Distance 2, by default, it will just tell you, but in your drawing, your design, your distance 1 may not be your distance 2. So let's say distance 2 is 3, enter. Now I need to be careful. Whichever line I click first takes the attribute of distance 1. The second line will take the attribute of distance 2. So that's the properties of distance 1 goes to the first line you clicked, and the property of distance 2 go to the second line you click. So if I click this first and click this next, you see from here to here is 4. From here to here is 3. Now to this other side is supposed to be symmetry. Let me right click and repeat. I'll click this first, then click this. You can see the symmetry now. They look alike. But let's say I made the mistake. I right click, repeat chamfer, and I click this first. Then click this. You see the way it is, right? You see the way it is now, right? So let me see what will happen. If I do this and I'll do this first, you see I've changed it, right? So when you make such a mistake like that, you don't need to panic, you don't need to delete. You just go back and repeat the operation in that area where you're supposed to do what you wanted to do, right? Where you're supposed to do what you wanted to do, you just go to the area and do that, right? That's what you do. That's easy. So now I'll repeat my letter. I must make sure I click this first before clicking this. That is what and how you do your filleting. If I want to change it the other way, like I did here to correct it, I can repeat fillet. I'll click this first before clicking this. You see it's changing. Repeat, click this first before clicking this. Now, mind you, I did not click on the beveled line. I clicked on the horizontal and the vertical. Don't go and click on the beveled line. But in a way, let's see what will happen. If I do that, click this first, then click, you see what it has done? You see it has further done the chamfering. Instead of doing it along this line, I went to click the beveled part. You see now it has given me a second uh, chamfer. Now, it depends. I'm always using the word your design intent. You're the one that is doing your design. If this is how you want your design to look, you can go ahead and continue. But if that is not your design intent, then you need to change what you have done. So I'll just go and undo this, undo so that it will come back, then repeat. Oh, I'm still repeating undo. Sorry, like I told us last time, when you right click, sorry, I press escape. When you right click, the last operation you carried out is always there. If you want to see further operations, you come to reset input. See, these are all the things we've been doing since from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, up to the 18th operation that we did before, right? So you can just right click. So let me repeat chamfer now. This time I'll click here and I'll click this horizontal line. This was what I was supposed to have, that I went to click on this. You can see the way it's changing. So thank you. So let's just finish for this other side. I'll click this first, then click. You can see I've changed the shape. That is how you do your chamfering. Yes, thank you. So let's see what's next, because I want to follow sequentially. Yes. We've been using, now let's tell you the difference between the line and the polyline, right? Before I do that, I want to explain pan. I wanted the time, I wanted us to reach a point where we will need it, because at times it's better to get to where we need than just teach it arbitrarily. Now we need to clear our screen, but I don't want to erase anything that I've drawn to have a clean slate. All I need to do is to right click, come to palm, that's the palm. You see the palm, right? The palm like this. Now this is the drawing area. This is the palm. Once you hold, it will carry it, the drawing paper up and down and shift your drawing away. So if I click now, you see the hand is folded and I drag, it will move my drawing away. Click, so I have, if I want to bring it back, I can drag and bring back. So you see, whenever I say click, I mean left click. You see the hand is open, as if it wants to hold, it's holding. If I click, it contracts to hold, and I drag away. That is what we call panning, right? Now, the difference between the polyline and the normal line is that your polyline, if you use a polyline to draw, it is continuous. But your normal line, whenever you draw and stop, it stops there and starts afresh again. What am I saying? Let's come to draw a line. If I draw this line and move there, stops, continues, stops, continues, stops, continue, then close, enter, right? If I select now, you see, it's only one that is selecting. Now, if you come to draw and you use polyline, if I click, let's click, 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 and close. Now, if I click anyone, you see everything is selected. If I click the line I drew, it's only the one I use the line command to draw is only just one part, because the command line, if you use it to start and stop, right? Now, I'm going to erase this. I'm talking about polyline now. Now you realize if you want to draw an arrowhead, you can use the polyline to draw an arrowhead, right? You can use the polyline to draw a curve. But let's draw the arrowhead first. Now, if I click on polyline, I'll click and move. Let's say I move a little and stop. Then look at the command line. I'm going to type W for width. I want to increase the width. W, enter. It's asking me for starting width. Starting width, I'm going to put 5, enter. Landing width, I'll put 0, enter. Right? Okay, the 5 is small. Let me, if I zoom it further, you see the 5 was actually small. That's why you may not see it well. So let's end. Now let me close. Now you can see the 5 is actually small, but I've tried to draw an arrowhead. But let's make it more visible for us to see. Right? I'll click on polyline, start, I'll move there, stop. Then I'll type W, enter. My line width, I'll put 20. Starting width 20, enter. Ending width 0, enter. Can you see? Starting width 20, ending with 0. So it has given me the arrowhead. Then what I'll now do, I'll just stop here. Then I click enter. Now, I know you must have seen some drawings, right? That have, like, even the beginning is sticker. So let's use the polyline. I'll click. Before I even start, I'll just type my W, enter. My line width to start with 10, enter. To end with 10, enter. See the way it stick now? The way it stick. I'll click. Then once I stop, I'll still type W again, enter. Starting with, let it be 40, enter. Ending with, let it be 0, enter. Now, I've drawn an arrowhead, a symbol for you to see. So you can see some drawings, right? Now, let me try something else just to see so that you understand it better. I'll still come to polyline. Now, I'll start with a line width of 10, right? And 10, enter, ending 10, enter. Now I'll right click and come to arc, right? You see the arc, right? So now let me just click. Now I can decide to give it value, right? So let's say you can see the blue part showing. It's asking me for the angle 2 is there, asking me for angles I'm moving. Now, if I type 50 for where the blue is showing and use the tab, you press the tab, it will take me to the angle. It has locked it to 50. You see, it has locked it to 50, right? It has locked it to 50. Now it's showing me, now is the angle that I'm talking about now. Now I'll take angle 45, enter. You see, it's 45 now. It wants to do another curve, right? Wants to do another curve. So now I can decide now, maybe it's direction I want to say. I can now decide to right click again and say this should come back to line. It should be line. Then I'll now type W, enter. I want to increase the width so that I'll have an arrowhead there. 40, enter. Ending with 0, enter. Now you see I'm having an arrowhead there. But again, if I want to draw a box with it, I can actually, so we're going to end the class here today. For the box, I can just click on this, move, get here, arc, pick it to the arc, and move, have my arc, take it back to line. move. Now, because my polar tracker, I can just come, I won't click to help me. You see the way I'm dragging it, it's showing me the green line, click, then right click, come to arc, and close, right click, enter, right click again, enter. You see, I have drawn a cylinder or a vessel. You know, most of our vessels are represented like this. Thank you very much for this class. We'll continue from here.